Lumirank dropped their 2025 tier list, and because of it, I've been getting asked one question a lot. Do I believe Falco is better than Wolf? For the longest time, Falco has been considered without question the worst spacey. In fact, in the beginning of Ultimate up until a few years ago, there was more of a debate on who was the best spacey between Fox and Wolf. With Falco getting buffs in patch 8.0, along with the meta advancing as far as it has, Wolf is no longer in the conversation of being the best spacey, and his opinion is at an all-time low since Falco has outplaced him in the most recent Lumirank tier list. But is Falco actually better than Wolf? Let's talk about it. Quick reminder to drop a like on the video for the YouTube algorithm. It's one simple click and can really help the video and channel out a lot. Let's start off talking about Falco and his strengths. So Falco is a combo machine compared to the other spacies and also has the best edge guarding capabilities. He has the worst neutral overall, but his combos and edge guarding easily make up for it. This means although it might be more difficult or committal for him to get a meaningful hit, when he does, he could take it much farther. Even though his neutral is the quote-unquote worst of the spacies, it's not bad, just the other two have better neutral options overall. Falco does have some pretty solid options in neutral against the opponent. He has a lot of moves that are really good at shield poking, so if the opponent holds shield for too long, he can easily get a solid hit. He also has some solid burst options with his side special, which is fast and difficult to react to. It covers a good distance, so it can somewhat make up for his poor horizontal mobility. It could be a big commitment being pretty unsafe on shield, which can lead to him getting hard punished or even losing his stock. He can make the move more safe by doing the aerial version, but that option is noticeably slower thanks to not only adding extra frames due to jumping, but also the aerial version in general just having more startup. His laser can be a good option to disrupt the opponent from afar, but isn't very damaging and is negative on hit up close. Falco has the fastest reflector in the entire game. His down special can reflect projectiles on frame 1. Though it has amazing startup reflecting wise, it has a lot of end lag. Falco is unable to do anything for roughly a third of the animation, so if the opponent baits out the option, he can get punished for it, and like laser, the move is negative on hit up close. Most of his attacks connect nicely into each other, so it usually doesn't matter what move he hits you with at lower percents in order to start his combos. His frame 3 neutral is the best of the spacies when it comes to getting reversals and capitalizing heavily off of them. If the opponent is slightly off on a combo, Falco can easily use his neutral air to combo into a grab or an up tilt, which can lead into a lot of damage or even a stock. Despite being slow horizontally, he has incredible vertical speed thanks to having the highest full hop in the game, the third highest double jump in the game, and one of the fastest fall speeds. This means on top of Falco's already amazing combo game, he has juggling capabilities that match it, and is phenomenal at chasing the opponent high in the air. When the opponent is off stage, Falco has a lot of strong edge guarding tools. All of his aerials can be effective tools at edge guarding the opponent since they have solid startup, low cooldown, and nicely sized active hitboxes. If the opponent is too far away to get hit by an aerial, Falco can use his laser or reflector, which is really good at halting the opponent's momentum and making it more difficult for them to drip back on stage, especially if they burn their double jump. With the use of his double jump, Falco can catch recoveries whether the opponent goes high or low and make it back on stage relatively easily. To make his edge guarding even less committal, instead of using his up special to recover, there are a lot of moments where he can use his side special or just directional air dodge to make it back. Aside from edge guarding, Falco has some really good ways of confirming into kills. His up tilt, down tilt, neutral air, forward air, up throw, side special, down air, and up air can all be used to set up into a kill. More than half the moves I mentioned can also be used as kill moves themselves. Now let's talk about some of Falco's flaws. Falco is a pretty lightweight character and can lose his stocks pretty early. I would say it's not a major flaw, but a flaw nonetheless. In my opinion, Falco's biggest issue is that he can struggle against short characters or characters at low profile when landing with aerials or other attacks. This makes his out of shield options and certain options in neutral significantly worse because although frame data wise he can punish the attack or should be able to hit the opponent on paper, his hitboxes will just go over them and whiff. This is especially rough because Falco's up smash is one of his fastest and strongest kill moves, but it does not hit low enough to be as strong of an out of shield option as it would seem. Another issue with Falco is opponents falling out of his multi-hit moves. Up tilt, up smash, and neutral air can sometimes not fully connect like it's supposed to, which could lead to Falco missing an opportunity to close out stocks. It can happen with forward air as well, but I feel like that one not fully connecting is much more rare. The final flaw Falco has in my opinion is struggling to close out stocks. Though Falco has really good kill confirms, if the opponent is outside of his percent windows, it can be really tough for him. Up throw and back throw can be DI'd so that the laser doesn't connect, which prevents them from working the way they were intended. He does have down tilt that can kill, but in order to get the strongest hit, you have to be really close to the opponent, and thanks to his bad horizontal speed, it could be really hard to do that. His neutral air, which can also be good for confirming kills, has the same issue. You have to be really close to land it, and his horizontal speed makes that difficult to do. Now let's talk about Wolf and his strengths. What sets Wolf apart from the other species is his amazing airspeed, disjoints, weight, and kill power. Wolf has the top 10 airspeed in the game, and the exact same fall speed as Falco. This makes his aerial approaches incredibly good because he can make it to the opponent from a deceptively far distance with a single jump. He has deceptively good ground mobility as well. Wolf has one of the slowest runs in the game, so when you first look at his ground speed, you're probably expecting him to be super slow. He makes up for his slow run by having an initial dash that is the same as Fox's stat-wise. This means you can make Wolf move significantly faster by foxtrotting with him over going into his run. Add on top of the incredible disjoints he has on his attacks, plus his laser and reflector, and I'd say he overall has the most well-rounded neutral game of the species. Also one of the most well-rounded neutral games in the entire game. Despite not having a sword, his attack range and disjoints can actually rival the range of some sword characters. In addition to Wolf's reflector giving him the ability to reflect projectiles, it can also be used to combo, and thanks to the few intangibility frames it has on it, can be a really strong option to beat out opponents in air-to-air situations. Wolf's kill power is far superior to the other species. His down smash, back air, and wolf flash can all take stocks from an opponent at super low percents. All Wolf needs is the right hit, and he can easily combo into them too. Some of the kill setups Wolf has can take an opponent's stock as low as 40%. Wolf is also the only spacey that has a kill throw that consistently works. Even if he doesn't get a crazy low percent combo, Wolf has amazing juggling thanks to his mobility and hitboxes. His down smash and forward tilt have amazing 2-frame capabilities, giving him another way to potentially take stocks at early percents. Down smash has been nerfed twice, and it still takes stocks at crazy low percents. Wolf is a pretty solid ledge trapper. His forward and down tilt can force the opponent off the ledge, and Wolf's aerials, especially back air, give him the ability to cover get up options with a kill move and still have enough time to react and cover other get up options. Zoning wise, his blaster is worse than Falco's due to it having a slower startup and end lag, but it can be more rewarding to land since it deals more damage as well as knocking the opponent backwards. He can use blaster to help with edge guarding, and if he opts not to go for 2-framing, he can use his amazing airspeed to chase the opponent off stage and try to take their stock that way. Recovery wise, even though his side special puts him into free fall, his recovery is surprisingly solid because of his airspeed and both his side and up special having decent startup. He has pretty strong reversal capabilities with both of his recovery moves, so if the opponent is caught off guard, Wolf has the opportunity to take their stock if they mess up edge guarding him off stage or if they're on stage and don't react properly to his defensive option. Now let's talk about Wolf's flaws. Wolf's biggest flaw in my opinion is how hard he can struggle from being comboed or put into disadvantage. Due to his gravity and weight, Wolf has a pretty decent window for a lot of characters to combo him. He does not have fast reversal options, so in a lot of cases when he's put in disadvantage, his best options are to air dodge, jump away, shield, or some other defensive option that is available to him. What this means is that a lot of characters can keep him in disadvantage longer than usual because he doesn't really have any strong tools to force himself to reset neutral or reversal the opponent for being slightly off on their combo. His fastest option to get the opponent off of him is footstool at B, which only works if the opponent does an aerial close enough for him to footstool it. It's a great option if it's available to him, especially if the opponent is at a high percent since it can kill, but it's not something he's always going to have. You're typically only going to get that option if the opponent does something unsafe enough on your shield, or if they're trying to pressure you while you're hanging on ledge and with an aerial close enough. He does have neutral air, which does have a big hitbox, but it comes out on frame 7, which is not a very fast option when you're looking for an attack to immediately reversal the opponent or fight your way out of disadvantage. It is an option that can help you while he's high in the air being juggled, especially if the opponent doesn't have a disjointed attack. His reflector, which is a faster option having intangibility on frame 5, still isn't going to be much help when he's being pressured or comboed. It is however an option that can help with landing, and I personally would like to see more Wolf players using it in that way. Another issue Wolf has is that a lot of his high damaging combos and setups are situational. Majority of Wolf's most high damaging combos result from him hitting the opponent with a landing aerial. If the opponent knows this, they can make it much more difficult for Wolf to get the setups he needs to take stocks early or just take stocks in general. Because of Wolf's lack of super fast frame data or having a super safe pressuring move, combined with how telegraphed the way he wants to hit you is, it can be a struggle to get a meaningful hit on the opponent. A lot of times for Wolf to get the setup he wants, he needs to win neutral and then try to get a read on how the opponent is going to act in disadvantage. So he's doing more guesswork compared to a character who can just win neutral and get their conversion without needing the read. The other problem is that if he doesn't get his read, instead of keeping the opponent in disadvantage, he's forced to reset to neutral usually. So who do I think is better between the two? I'll give you two answers that can explain why both are better and then tell you which one I believe. The first one is that Falco is better because he hard wins more matchups than Wolf does, and the meta favors his playstyle more than Wolf's. Falco, in my opinion, is easier to play competitively than Wolf. His game plan doesn't really change that much, and because of his damaging yet simple punish game, he's just rewarded much better than Wolf. Like I said before, Wolf's setups to take stocks require more guesswork, and because of that, he needs to know more details about matchups since he can't just win neutral once and take a stock or put them at kill percent on top of just getting comboed harder. The second answer is that Wolf is better. He's just a harder character to play at a top level and is not getting the same results he used to because of top representatives dropping the character or not being as active. Wolf is a character that has a lower floor than Falco, but at the same time has a higher ceiling and has a lot of optimizations that aren't consistently being done yet. Though he may not hard win as many matchups as Falco, he doesn't lose as many, and for that reason should be much better when played optimally. And now for what I think. I personally believe Wolf is better than Falco. Though he might be better, I think the problem with the character is he requires someone who is not only super dedicated to optimizing everything he has, but also studious enough to learn his matchups in great detail. Because he doesn't have a simple game plan like Falco, it's much easier to lose due to matchup inexperience, since Wolf is what many would consider to be a quote-unquote honest character. And with a game like Ultimate where there's over 80 characters, you're bound to run into a matchup you don't know and get matchup checked. The other problem is because of how common of a character he's been throughout Ultimate competitively, he's probably one of the most known matchups in the game. But yeah, I think overall Wolf is better, but just a bad tournament character because of how much knowledge you need not just about your character, but the opponents in order to consistently do well with him, especially this late into Ultimate's life. So for the fun of it, like the Sephiroth vid I did, I decided to get the opinions of Tilde and Charliedaking, top representatives for Falco and Wolf respectively. I had a feeling what both of their responses would be, since it's a topic I've talked to both of them about in the past, but I was curious to see if any of their reasonings changed, or if they just had a completely different opinion than what I was expecting. Anyways, hope you enjoy. Alright Tilde, I have one simple question for you. Do you believe Falco is better than Wolf? And if yes or no, why?
I think Wolf is way better than Falco. I think there's currently not a ton of Wolves attending tournaments like that. Whereas in Japan, you got like 3 top Falcos all of a sudden, as well as a couple in America just popping off. So I think like ranking-wise, it makes sense. I personally think Wolf's better and easier as a character, which in my opinion would place him way higher on the tier list than Falco.
Alright, that's pretty much it, unless you want to add anything else.
Falco sucks. Did you see my up smash whiff on the neutral getup? The forwarder didn't kill it like 170. He's not that bad though, they're close. In my mind, it's not like a drastic thing. Like I feel like Falco and Wolf could honestly be like in the same area. It's hard to say Wolf is the worst spacey. You know what I mean? I'm sure you feel that way a little bit too.
I get what you're saying, yeah.
No, Falco sucks, dude. Tough.
Alright, Charlie the King, I have one question for you. I don't know if you've seen the most recent Lumirank tier list, have you?
No. Well, maybe. I think I've like gotten a glance at it. Like one of my Street Fighter friends sent me it, but I don't remember what it looks like.
Okay. So the
Yeah.
most important thing, or the relevant thing in the video, is that on the tier list, it says that Wolf is worse than Falco. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't agree with
All right,
that.
and why? Like, can you explain why you think Wolf is better than Falco?
Putting me on the spot a little bit. I wish you told me in advance so I could be like, I don't know. I think Wolf is more solid all around. He's definitely harder to like. His moves are less safe generally, but I think his neutral's more diverse. And his advantage state and when he hits you can be just as scary. It's just that he can't really like kill confirm you as consistently as Falco does off of his openings. But I think Wolf finds those openings easier because his air drift, he's more mobile in the air and on the ground. His neutral is stronger. It's easier for him to bait people into whiffing grabs on his landings because of how good his fast fall double jump game is. He's very ambiguous in the air compared to Falco, and he does a ton of damage when he hits you. Falco does a little bit more damage, and he can kill you off these strings. And his edge guarding is very strong, but I think his neutral is a lot weaker. Falco, when you get him off stage without his jump, I think he's easier to kill than Wolf as well. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's it. Thank you. And that is it for the video. Reminder to drop a like for the YouTube algorithm. It really does help me out a lot. Subscribe to me if you're not subscribed to my channel. I do Smash videos. If you like Smash, you'll like my channel. And I also stream. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.